Hello, everyone. Please confirm if you can see the both of us. Am I audible and visible? Just give me a minute. Yeah, right. So we have got a confirmation that we are audible and visible. So hello, everyone. We welcome you all at the National Law Training Institute, and we hope to help each of you during your entire CLAT journey. Among us, we have Rishabh Shivani, All India Rank 1, CLAT 2022. Through this program, that is the National Law Training Institute, we hope to help you during the entire CLAT prep journey and try to take steps to mitigate all your concerns that you might have regarding the course material and the course prep. So even though we don't need any formal introduction for Rishabh, I'll still ask him to introduce himself a bit. And yeah,
Hello everyone, my name is Rishabh Shivani and I got AR1 in CLAT 22 examination. I am from Delhi and I hope to mentor you all during the course of this journey.
right. Thank you for that, Shivani. So yeah, this is a very basic question, but still, I think that we should take this up as the first one. So everyone knows that CLAT is all about reading stuff, and it is a very reading extensive exam, and we need to go through like a lot of questions, passages that just entails reading. So my first question to you would be like how to go about improving our reading speed, and that also includes our comprehension abilities. Like, if what is there any trick that we read the passage and just get the whole of it without having to read it twice?
Uh, I think it's not really much of a trick, but let's say what you can read newspapers, right? So what I used to do was I read newspaper and then I just used to summarize what I read, the article that I read, right? So that can, as like once you start doing that, you can improve your efficiency. You can time yourself. That all right, I have to read this article in 3 minutes. Now once you have mastered that, you can try maybe 2.5 minutes or 2 minutes, something like that. So that can work with reference to speed. With reference to comprehension, there are like basic two things required, that you
Hmm.
either you remember what's written in the passage, or you are able to give a summary of the same, right? You're able to locate things in the passage, where is what written, right? So with reference
Right.
to that, you can just after reading the passage, you can just, with the help of a friend, with the help of any other person, you can just tell them to ask something regarding you can just summarize the passage as a whole. That can help with the comprehension.
Right. So that brings me to my next question. Like, you talked about newspapers. So which all newspapers did you refer to? Was it primarily the Hindu, or you also referred to other newspapers?
So till I guess till March, I referred to the Hindu, but after a point it got very monotonous and all.
Not-
So after that, I referred to the Indian Express. And if
Right.
I'm being honest, I think the Indian Express is a bit better in that sense.
Oh, so your opinion is that Indian Express should be referred to for CLAT aspirants. Like, the popular opinion tilts for on the side of the Hindu, but yeah. So, but
I
your personal
I think
opinion?
the explained part of Indian
Hmm,
Express is very good. Like even Hindu has it now, but the explained and the
yeah.
editorials part are good for it.
Right, right, right. So basically, to summarize what you have just said, your strategy for reading speed included reading newspapers, and that to time. You timed yourself, and that you have to read the newspaper article or the editorial within 3 minutes, and you try to like overpower yourself every day. Like, if 3 minutes today, I'll do in 2.5 minutes tomorrow, and then 2 minutes. So basically, the time reading aspect was the basic, like the trick or the funda to crack the reading speed part. Yeah. So yeah, like, this is a question that does not apply to me being a CLAT topper, and not a CBSE topper or something like that. But you are the ones who all have given the CLAT exam as well as both simultaneously. So how did you manage your board exams along with CLAT exams? Like, given that there was only like a very less like insubstantial period of time between the board exam and the CLAT exams.
Yeah, so I think for me it was like, since all we had like two board exams, no. So for the first board exam, I did study and I covered the backlog later. But I figured that for the second board exams, like which was in what June, May to June, I knew that I couldn't be able to cover the backlog then. So I was I was trying to finish like sort, because in the last month you just revise, no, for GK primarily. So I gave mocks and all, but for GK I just
Hmm.
revised in on those days, and I just I just studied for my boards in those days. Like I didn't like, obviously it's recommended to study during the other months as well for the clad prep, normal, in the normal months, so
Hmm.
that you do not just have a lot of things to do. But that is what I did. But I think what I'll recommend is that you do the chapters as they go, because for us the school wasn't open, right? For you guys the schools are open, and they will have to study, they'll have to participate in class and do something. So then you can just cover, go with the flow and all that, and then cover a lot for CLAT in the weekends. So maybe that can help.
Right. So, Rishabh, since CLAT is in December this year, whereas the board exams would be held next year, so would you suggest that we focus more or like 90% of our time on CLAT and like leave the board exams to next year,
So
March and April?
I think, since let's say boards are in March, right? So you have 2-3 months, and I think if you study, if you study hard, they are sufficient for that. So just like, just try to plus you will the people will appear for the boards, no, like for the pre boards, no, for the which the school takes. So you will have to attempt those tests. So you will obviously study for that. Just study for that, do the bare minimum there, and then once
Hmm.
CLAT is over, then you can study for boards. So that is also an advisable strategy.
Right, Rishabh. So there is a like very unpopular belief that if we study for 8 hours a day or 9 hours a day, then only we'll be able to clear CLAT. But like during when I gave CLAT and when I gave interviews, outrightly rejected this idea that this is not JEE or NEET. CLAT requires a very open mind and like an ability to comprehend skills, whereas like unlike what is required in JEE and NEET. So can you tell us about how your day looked like and what was your CLAT prep routine? Did you also put in like 7 to 8 hours of study?
No, no, no. So I think the maximum that I've done in one single day was 5 hours, and that was including a mock test. So because
Right.
because you have like, I think for the best study material, once you know the concept and all, is mock test. Before that, you obviously have to improve speed and all, you have to give sectional tests and all. So during the later part, I think it was like I just gave mocks, I prepared for GK. But like obviously before that, uh let's say you give two sectional tests, like in, let's say, what, March, I gave two sectional tests, for which included one for English, one for CR.
Mhm.
Then I did legal. Sometimes I either legal or maths. So even you see that would be maximum about what, 1.5 hours, like
Right.
maximum 1.5 hours, right? 1.5 hours,
Right.
or 1 hour, 1 hour 45 minutes maximum. So I think that, plus then you can read the newspaper, so that's 45 minutes, 2 hour, uh, 2.5 hours, and then you can prepare for GK and all. I think that would be sufficient, because now I think you should not give, like, let's say, a mock every day. Plus,
Mhm.
considering that they guys have to, you guys have to go to school and all, because we didn't have to go to school. We can just attend the class and just go out, go and do other things. So you have to manage that as well. So obviously you have to give mocks on Sundays and all. Give mock on Sunday, analyze them on Sunday, and on the other days just give sectional tests and all. So if you do about 3 to 4 hours a day, that'd be more than enough, I think, every day.
Right. So, Rishabh, like if I'm not wrong, in CLAT 2022, the English section comprised of questions like from core grammar and literary devices and a lot of things. But in CLAT 2021, it was primarily passage-based questions only, like comprehension skills. So, in 2022, most of my like mentees who I know failed to score good in English just because they were not able, they did not have a grasp over the core grammar subjects. So, what do you suggest? Like, which all sources should now CLAT 23 aspirants should refer to not make this that fallacy?
So, like, there are, like, once there's the proper comprehension thing, like, which was asked in 2021. Then there is the grammar part, the literary devices part, figures of speech, tones, and all. Right? If you cover them, sort of like just upper say, in like
Hmm.
such a sense that you do the bare minimum there, I think it would be more than enough, because like even in 2022 there were reading comprehension questions, right? Like, there were primarily reading comprehension
Hmm.
question, obviously. After that, there were some questions, but if you know, like if you give mock tests and all, that if you prepare for A-Lit, right, then you
Right.
can, cover those things as well. So it's not much of an issue in that sense. But yeah, I would suggest that please, whatever source you refer to, do not refer to some random source for doing anything under the sun.
Hmm.
That should not do. But one thing is that you should not rely too much on the past year paper as well. Like for 2020, do not just say कि okay 2023 mein they asked questions on literary device and grammar, so I'll just do that and that. I'll just
That.
focus too much on that. Do not just focus
Hmm.
on that aspect, right? So I think, yeah, just prepare
Right.
everything, prepare as much as you can, because you can't prepare everything, but do the basic thing and then do certain other things, but not all, right? You should know
All.
where to draw the line. Yeah.
Right, right. So basically, if any someone prepares for ALET, SLAT, MHCT, I think that that exams, like those exams, cover these things a lot, like
Yeah,
literary
if you
devices,
even give
tones,
like
vocab.
for some mocks and all, if you just see
Hmm.
some slat mocks, some elite mocks and all, you get to know the hang of it, right? You get the hang of it, that what should we do in those type of questions, right? It's not like you have to practice other than that as well. So I think that can work if you know do that.
Right, Rishabh. I think you must be knowing that your GK notes are very famous among the CLAT aspirant community, and everyone aspires to get a hang of it. So, can you tell us about your sources which you refer to for the GK thing, and how did you ace it? Like, and can you also tell us what was your score in GK? Because I personally found it very unpredictable, and I've been making mocks for various other coaching institutes, and still I found it very unpredictable and out of the box.
Yeah. So my score in GK was, I guess, 24.5. Like it was not much, but still
Hmm.
I think it was sufficient. So any score above 20 in CLAT 22 in GK was good. I like plus even rank 6 Akash Bafna, he got like what, 16 or 18 in GK, right? He got 18 in GK,
Right.
plus then even then he got rank 6, so it's not like you have to rely too much on GK. But yeah, so with reference to the GK notes, I think I just like I read the Hindu and the Indian Express. So sometimes like I always did not read both, but what I did was that you read one newspaper, let's say you read the Hindu,
Hmm.
then you just see there are some coachings which have presented analysis or just said what all important articles are there in this paper. No, you can just refer, see, and if there is one or two articles which is not there in the Hindu, one or two editorials or explain things and all. So that is what you can do. Just I think, yeah. So if you read the Indian Express, just refer to what was the explained part in the Hindu and vice versa. That can be
Right.
sufficient. So then I just on top of the newspaper, I always used to mention what all important topics there are and what I will write
Hmm.
about that. So I refer to the newspaper itself, then previous articles like hyperlinks of the newspaper, then maybe sometimes Rishti IS, or sometimes live mint articles or other
Right.
newspapers on that, other agencies on that. Then for geopolitical topics, I also refer to Wikipedia a lot. I think Wikipedia is one of the best sources if you
Hmm.
want to know the basic idea in geopolitical topics. Like let's say you need to know about Russia, Ukraine, or you need to know about Yemen crisis, then I
Right.
think Wikipedia is also a very good source. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I
just
refer
to,
to
yeah.
it.
Yeah, just to tell the aspirant community, like what I did during my prep was, I basically referred to the newspapers, and I found out the relevant topics. So for me, a relevant topic was a topic that appeared in newspapers for consecutively 2 to 3 days. So if a topic appeared in the newspaper for that period of time, I used to write it down in my diary, alag say, and then go on Drishti IS, Wikipedia, Google, other articles, and then do a thorough research. So just relying on newspaper is would not be sufficient, and just relying on Drishti IS would not be sufficient.
Or not this.
CLAT requires both, a culmination of both the things. Yeah,
Yeah, I
so
think that
that's
happened because in 2021, I think the questions were from the Rishti IS book only,
right.
like the compendiums that they issue. So after many people I know, they were like, all right, we'll just refer to Drishti IS and usse ho jayega, because
Mhm.
even in the mocks they were asking about from
Yeah,
Drishti IS only. So, but I think you should not, just do that. For Drishti IS, I think their compendiums are helpful in the sense that you can get a varied knowledge, right? You can get to know about a lot of topics there.
out of
You
it.
can just pick what you want to, right? Do not refer them for the notes per se, because I don't think that's that would
Yeah,
be.
because Rishi IS is basically for IAS and other
Yeah,
judiciary
exactly.
exams. No, yeah, so yeah, that's the
Yeah,
thing.
they just give you a
So
basic thing and then the aspirant has to build up on that, the IS aspirant, like whatever.
Right, right, right. Yeah. So, also, like, as I know that CLAD consortium is very unforeseen in this aspect. Like the CLAD 2022 exam asked the question from 2021 March, I guess. So this can't be,
2021, yeah.
yeah, yeah, this can't be predicted. But what would you suggest? Like, which all months should the aspirant like cover for 23
I
exam?
think I think 1 year would be sufficient. So if you, let's say, cover from January to December, I think that is more than
Hmm.
enough. If you, obviously, for
Right.
aspirants who are just starting prep, that won't be possible. But if that is the case, then just try to reach as far behind as you can, right? In that sense,
Hmm.
maybe if not till January, then maybe till May or June, and from that, you have to, obviously you have to prepare from after CLAT happens. So you have to prepare from July, right? So just try
Right.
to cover 2 or 3 months before that as well.
Right. So just to like tell all the aspirants that if a topic is from 2019, let's say, but that has been in news recently, let's say the Eritrea news or the Yemen crisis or something happened in the UAE, some bomb blasted there in 2019, but that has been in news recently. So that becomes important for you. Just because the thing happened in 2019 would not suffice for you to leave that topic. If it is in news recently, then it becomes relevant. Yeah. So yeah, so then it brings me to my next question of GK backlog. Like it's all like 4 months are left, and you have told aspirants to cover from January. So what if the aspirant is just starting now and there's already a backlog of 6 months? So how to cover
So
that?
if for that, I think firstly, if you have backlog, like for example, for us, we did not have a backlog per se, but we thought that let's cover the Drishya's compendium. So what, like, we had a group of 4 friends, and we just divided amongst ourselves, right? That all right, you do January, you do March, you do April, and we'll just collate the notes for that. So I think
Hmm.
that if you can, have certain some study buddies for in that sense, who can help you with that, who have backlog and who also want to cover, then you can do that. Otherwise, like, it's basically that for January and February, if it's not, I don't think it's that reasonable now to just start from that to do in that depth. Just read the compendium, just identify three
Hmm.
or four topics, or like, let's say, identify 10 topics from that month, like the most important ones which may have some relevance now, and just make notes on that, right? Just read the compendium, which would just take like what, 3 hours or something like that, and
Right.
just make notes on it. So you can essentially, if you, let's say, have 1 week, you can read for all the 7 months for that, right? From January to July, you can read for all the 7 months. If you
Hmm.
have, like, if you just study for 1 week, study GK for 1 week, then just start making notes. Try to just make,
Hmm.
or sometimes some days you're making notes of 10 topics, some day 15 topics and all that. Just try to cover it as much possible, right? And if there is obviously a shortage of time, then what you can do is just choose the most important ones from the rest. No, that's what you can do.
Right.
That
Do
is
you
for the start.
suggest referring to the compendiums released by coachings like CLAT Post and what Manthan? Did you refer to? Yes.
I like, what basically what we did was, for like confirmation thing, we were like, that we were anxious that we do not know much of GK and all, so we did Clad post and all. Then we were like, okay, we have done something now. So you can do not refer them from notes per se, but like, you can refer to those to get topics. See, I don't think, I I won't say that just copying the whole topic and the notes from someplace would be advisable. Just
Hmm.
go through the week or the month, and go through the clat post and see what topics there are, right? And then just because obviously, see, I think it is obviously Manthan has the least amount of topics. Then there's Gladpost, and Drishti has
Of
an
course.
other level. Drishti has a lot of
Hmm.
topics. So you can do either of the things, right? You can do either, because, but the point is, even those like Gladpost and Manthan, they are to some extent made from Drishti only. Like the topics are the same
Right.
to some extent. So then it's on you. I would personally advise you to refer to the Drishti's compendium.
Hmm.
Rest obviously is on you guys.
Right. So now I think we should move on to the mock section, mock analysis section. So what was the frequency of mocks for you, and what was the total number of mocks that you appeared for?
I don't remember the total, but it would be a lot. Like, so, it would be about 150, about 150 more.
Oh,
Uh,
right.
so I'm a 2 year aspirant. So I've been prepared 2 years, no, so
Right.
150. So, so for me, I think it was that you about some weeks it was, you give two marks, then some weeks 3 marks, then 4 marks, and some, and like
Hmm.
that you go, right? So so after, let's say, after March, like when the school had, we were done with school, and we just had to appear in boards. School did not have its classes and all. Then I attempted a lot of mocks. I attempted
Hmm.
a lot of, if you have back, so for example, for aspirants who are just starting, they'll have backlog mocks as well, right? So try to
Right.
cover those mocks as well, because that would help in your GK preparation as well, and in general, preparation as well. So you can do that as well. So with reference to mocks, just give, for now, I think 2 mocks a week would be sufficient. Then you can increase it to
Right.
3 or 4.
Yeah. And what was your strategy for like about how did you analyze your mocks?
So, with reference to analysis, it was mostly about what mistakes you've done. Then
Hmm.
you just discuss. So, for example, what us, like 4 people, the study group, what we did was we just came together and we talked about the mark. We talked about what mistakes each other made. Right. So, for example, I got question number 5 wrong, and Kanish did. So he can explain to me as to why, why I got
Right.
it wrong. Or if the question is wrong, then I can explain to him why he was wrong, and I am right. So you can analyze with that sense. So just analyze your, what mistakes you made, why you made it, what did you think. Like, for example,
Hmm.
sometimes people think that, okay, it's between the two options, I'll choose one. So let's say in legal, you chose the one with the factual reasoning, you had to choose with the legal reasoning. So you can basically, just analyze that. For So yeah, with reference, just analyze your mistakes, why you made it, what happened. Just analyze the mock as well,
Hmm.
like what happened during the mock, right? Not just with reference to mistakes, but with reference to passages and stuff, right? uh,
Yeah.
so that would be sufficient, I think.
Yeah, so this was the strategy I also followed. So like during my analysis, I referred to only the wrong questions that I got. So my mindset was, why should I go through the right questions again? Because I've already got them right. So what is the point of like
Yeah, see, sometimes
going through
that
them
that is
again?
that is where I said that, you can analyze with your friends, because not we
Hmm.
don't get all the same questions wrong. No,
Right.
some question he got wrong. So all the tricky questions
Yeah.
that are in some way discussed when all 4 of us are in a discussion. No, and if some question is definitely wrong, and if all 4 of us have got it wrong, we know the reason and all. Then also you can, know as to why that is wrong and all that. So yeah, you can refer to what questions you obviously see, the
Hmm.
basic questions like which you know are 100% right, which the
Right.
explanation also says the same thing. Obviously you won't refer to that much, you just glance and all, just go ahead. For the tricky questions, like let's say you guessed among the two options and you got it right, so what was the
Right.
reason for
Right.
that option, and then you can analyze that as well. So that's sufficient.
Right. So Rishabh, like even during my CLAD prep journey, there was a point के 70 से ऊपर ही नहीं जा रहे और like 80 पर आकर score अटक गया अब 80 से 85 नहीं जा रहा 85 से 90 नहीं जा रहा. Did you also experience the same thing during your prep? And if you did, like aspirants term this as stagnancy, like score
Yeah.
stagnant हो गया भैया क्या करे? So what is your suggestion to overcome this? And did you also face the same thing?
Yeah, so even I faced the same thing. So, but obviously mine was at a higher level. So it was like between 100 to 105 I was stuck, and because obviously
Hmm.
the mocks were easier that way. So my rank was also not good. So I was just stuck between 100 and 105. I was not able to go ahead with that. So I think, and then what happened was I talked to like Karan Mehta sir, one of the legal aid mentors.
Right.
So what aspirants can do is that you can change the way you attempt the mock, you can change the order in which you attempt the mock, right? So for example, my order was very bad. I did GKQ, and then I did the whole 3 reading sections together, and then
Hmm.
I changed that. So you can just change this, you can just, through trial and error, like one mock you did this order, like for 3 4
Right.
mocks,
Right.
then you can try, all right, let's just change the order and then go for it. So that can also help. Otherwise, like for example, you can put the weakest section first or at the last, and then see as
Right.
to how you can, differ. So that can be one thing regarding stagnancy. Other thing can be analyze where the scores are getting stagnant, right? Is it like, if there is always one section, like for
Section.
people attempting legal ed mocks, I think the legal section, just
Legal
brings the
section.
score down. Yeah. So is it the legal section, or are you doing bad in the other section as well? So for example, if you can't increase your score in maths above 5 or 10, you're not able to attend more than that, right? Because of that, your overall score is becoming stagnant as well. So just try to do something regarding that. Just try to attempt more. Just try to put it at the first. Try to, let's say, sacrifice 5 minutes in another section for maths and see
Right,
how it
right.
works. So you can just through trial and error go see how you can attempt, and then you can, once you get one strategy which you,
Hmm.
for example, one mock which did go well, just attempt another mock with the same strategy. If it works again, then you can, you know that okay, this strategy is working
Right.
for me now. So that can work.
What was the sequence on the final clad day?
So on the final clad day, it was I was nervous to see the GK, curious to see the GK section. No, so it was GK. Then I did two passages of English. Then I did CR. Then I did uh, maths, and after that I did remaining English and legal at the last section.
Legal.
So for me, I think the
Right.
reason I did legal at the last was that legal was one section that if there is, let's say, a time shortage, then legal is one section I can cut from, let's say, 40 minutes to 30 minutes, or from 35 minutes to
Hmm.
30 to 27, 28
13.
minutes. Yeah.
Right.
So that is, so I think that is one strategy that which aspirants can take, that just put the last section, put your strongest section at the last. Not because sometimes it may happen that okay, you weren't able to score well in that section,
Well,
but the point is, that can help in time shortage, like mocks which are too lengthy per se, right? You can say okay, this is my go-to section, I can attempt this section in 12 minutes, 10, like for math section I can attempt this section in 12 minutes, 13 minutes, or 15 minutes only. So just attempt at the last, just give 15 minutes and attempt it. So that is
hmm.
because you can't expect yourself to, in a time shortage where you are nervous and all, you can't expect yourself to be very time efficient in for the last section as well, right, where you are anxious as to the regarding the paper and all. So just put that as the last section, put your strongest section as the last section maybe, and see how it works. So yeah.
Right, right. Okay. So basically, first to remove stagnancy, you are saying that you need to try changing your order, try analyzing where your mistakes are, find out what your weakest section is and your strongest section is, and try to like
Work
play
on that.
around with the CLAD example. Say like play around, explore new things like how you can increase the score in that particular section, which is bringing your score down. Yeah. So that's great. Yeah. So yeah. So people are asking in the chat box, what is your first CLAD mock score, if you remember by any chance?
uh, I think it's something, I think it's either 62 or 65. So yeah,
And
62 or
what was the last score before CLAT?
108.5. Like I gave a mock on 18th as well, like just one day before the exam.
Right.
So that
Yeah,
was.
yeah. Right. So now, what would you suggest aspirants for CR and English section? Like most, I believe that CR is the first section that people are scared of primarily. That हाँ CR नहीं हो रहा, assumption क्या है, conclusion क्या है, inference क्या है, core concept पढूं या practice करूं, or should I give sectional tests instead? So what was your plan, and what is the suggestion that you would give aspirants for CR and English section? Because basically CR can be combined with English only. If you are good in English,
Yeah,
there are high chances that you'll score good in CR and vice versa. Yeah,
yeah. So, firstly, I'll just clear this misconception. You guys, nobody has to study the CR theory or whatever that is. That's just bullshit. What you can do is, however, that just practice, just see the GMAT guide, just see what they, just understand what the basic meaning of an assumption is, what an inference is, right? That's
hmm,
all you need to do regarding CR. Then just practice from GMAT questions, from LSAT questions first, because those are questions which are not, which are like they are tough questions, but you know that okay, this will be the answer for that. The answer would be 100% correct. There won't be any mistakes in the GMAT guide, and they'll be able to justify their answer as well.
that's true.
Just see
Yeah,
the question, try what was your answer, and because they'll even show why every other option was wrong, and why this option is right. They'll show both the aspects. So you can just see that, and you can just improve your critical thinking skills in that sense, right? For GMAT guides, there are LSAT guides. Even for
right, right.
even in even you can even refer to the RC part of those guys, because their RC somewhat are CR in this sense, right? Because their RC are in such a, like they are tough in such a way that the questions are somewhat related to the CR which is asked in our exam as well. So you can do that as well. So once you get to know the basic thing about the section, just practice, and I think that would be sufficient. Like, do not get scared about what they're asked in mocks and all, because even
Right.
I was scoring, because I knew I was good in logical, because for GMAT, once I was attempting. in GMAT questions and all, my accuracy was around 90-95%, right? Which is good. But in mocks, I was scoring around 17, 16, or sometimes in even 15 and 12.5 and all. Very bad. So the point is just do not care much about, that, okay, my mock score. But the point is you need to know the basics of it. You need to get that
Hmm.
confidence. Okay, I am good in CR. Even if I'm getting bad in mocks, I can score good in CLAT. But if you do not have that confidence, then just practice and practice, not from mocks, but attempt, let's say, sectional tests, or attempt GMAT or LSAT questions. That
Hmm.
will work.
Right. So for did you refer to the Khan Academy LSAT guide?
No, I did not. But I
All
referred to
right.
questions basically. Like there is this 116 reading comprehension passages thing for LSAT. I think that is
Right.
very good. So they've divided those 116 passages into many sectional tests, and
Hmm.
they've written the time as well. So there it says 35 minutes. So for aspirants who are just
Right.
into the CLAD sphere, you can maybe try 40 minutes for those, because there are four passages, right? They are long passages, tough
Hmm.
passages. So just try four passages, 40 minutes, then try 35 minutes. Then so I was able at the end I was able to complete it in 30 minutes, like the four passages, because they are obviously tougher passages. So I was able to complete that, and in that my accuracy was also good. Like I only got like two or three wrong, or maybe even one wrong. So if
Right.
you if you know you will know that know about reading comprehension and all once you get start attempting those papers, and you are scoring good in those papers. So I think that can be done.
Right. Right. So, Rishabh, I believe that there are two approaches to the CLAT exam. One is the attempt centric and one is the accuracy centric. So, while I was giving CLAT, I knew that my accuracy is around 80 to 85%. So, I tried to attempt as many as possible. So, what do you think is the right approach? Or there's no right approach. It's just like what suits you the best. So, what was your strategy? Like, did you go about attempting all 150 questions, or your accuracy was good, so you could restrict yourself to 130 or 135 also?
So for me, I never did the accuracy thing, right? I was like, attempt as much as you can,
Right.
because even if you attempt five more questions, you just have to get one of them correct, so as to
Right.
equalize the score, right? Just attempt. If you obviously there's a time shortage, then you can't. So even in
Hmm.
CLAT, like in CLAT, I was able to like complete the whole paper. So I was able to attempt 147 questions. The three questions I left were in GK only, right? So in uh, attempt as many. If you can attempt, let's say 135 plus, no, then even let's say you get 30 wrong, right? Even if you attempt 135 questions, you get 30 wrong, you'll still get 97.5 marks, which is
Right.
all right, right? So that way it works. You can attempt more, you can attempt 140 and all that. Just try to attempt every question in the other section. And GK, you will have to leave certain questions, right?
Certain
So just,
questions.
yeah, just try to attempt 140 plus in that sense. Because for me it was like, I just increased my attempt. It was never like just attempted 130 because negative
Hmm.
counts and all that. Yeah, that's not how one should work. Just see, the point is, once you've achieved that thing, that you're able to attempt the paper as a whole, no, then just try to improve accuracy in that sense. Instead of
Right.
restricting your attempts to 130 by saying, okay, my
Hmm.
accuracy will be good now, improve your accuracy in the 147 that you're attempting, right? So you can do it that way. You can work in that sense. So I think that is one thing which aspirants can. I think the attempt centric thing is a better thing. But obviously, that does
Better.
not mean that blindly guessing anything.
Hmm. Right. 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 Yeah. So, what is your suggestion for GK? Like sorry, for legal. Like legal can be divided into core legal knowledge comprising torts, crime, uh, constitution, etc., contract law, and the current legal knowledge including UAPA, defamation, sedition. That like the primarily the bar and bench and live law articles. So, what did you refer to for current legal knowledge, and how did you like enhance your core legal knowledge?
Yeah, so for me, I think the core legal knowledge aspect was like I studied that a lot because I had like an
Hmm.
interest now. So I studied a lot of books also, like Nani Palkhiwala's book, then The
Right.
Courtroom Genius, then many other constitutional law books which had famous cases and all, which I guess we'll be studying later. So the point is that just try to get a basic sense of the law, right? That you're able to interpret it in a good way, right? So by increasing your core knowledge, it won't matter much if you refer to the current legal
Hmm.
one. Obviously you should, because it may be asked in the exam. But the thing is, like, let's say even for in CLAT 22 they had international law passages, right? though they were very
Right.
fairly simple passages. But if you the key skill here is to interpret what the law is trying to say. No, it's not about that, but uh, the part where that can be helpful, core legal knowledge can be helpful, is, let's say there's a passage on negligence and you have like 4 minutes to just see what the passage is. It's about negligence, what are the
Hmm.
defenses to it, whatever it is, it's about res ipsa loquitur, whatever it is. Then
No.
just skim it and just go and just attempt the questions, right? Plus if you read certain cases, like certain a major case like Donahue versus Stevenson or whatever, then you know that even the facts are from those cases, like from
Hmm.
like some maybe from Ashby versus
Right.
by some cases like that, right? Because ultimately it's just the law students who are making the paper,
Hmm.
making the
Right.
mocks. So you refer to, even in CLAT 2021, they refer to the major cases only, and you had to answer in
Right.
that respect. So if you just do the bare minimum in that sense, just read about the various, let's say, torts, criminal law, family law, and IPC. I think that please do
Hmm.
not do the procedural codes, like that is a very unnecessary thing for now. Even like
Right.
I haven't done those things. So
Did you
just
refer to
try
RSMs?
RSMs for practice, not for the uh, legal knowledge part. But there
Right.
is, obviously you can search on, just read on, I don't know, blog IP leaders, or just attend your coaching class or whatever you
Hmm.
have. Then you can just see those. It's a basic thing. Like just see what the tort is about. Let's say it's the tort of vicarious liability. Then say what the tort is about. Do not just memorize the maxims that qui facet per alium facet per se. Do not
Hmm.
just memorize those things those things are useless. But what you can do is just see what the tort is about, what is the basic thing regarding it, right? What are the cases for that? For example, what is the contract of service thing, the for service thing? One or two cases, major cases on that. Do not refer to, let's say, the recent cases. That is the very research paper thing. Just refer to what are the major cases on that. So if you have a basic idea about the tort, no, you'll be able to better interpret the passage as well, and then
Right.
just answer it. So that would be sufficient.
Right. I think I missed the math section. So, what was your strategy for preparing for like the quantitative aptitude section?
So, like, I don't know, to be honest, I just had a natural thing for maths. It was like I was able
Hmm.
to attempt it and all. I was able to, because from a child I was very interested in maths. I was fast in calculation and all. But for someone who isn't, you know who does not like math, first of all, you have to attempt the math section. Please do not say that, okay, I'll leave the math section. That can't work. But just refer to various books. Like you can refer to RS Agarwal, maybe RS Agarwal. You can refer to some parts of RS Agarwal, but not the whole book. Then you can refer to that book. There's this DI book by Adda 247, right? The QA book. You can refer to that
Hmm.
book. That book is very well in that sense, right? So you can refer to that book and you can practice. That would work. Then you can, let's say, refer to coaching material as well, because coaching material with reference to the math section is good. You can obviously skip the, like, for
Right.
example, what happened was at a certain point in legal ed mocks, the math section was just too tough, because like I was the one who was scoring 15, 15, 15 in maths, but even I was not able to score, let's say, about 10 in those, because there was no time. So just do not get intimidated by that. What you need to know is that there should be also do not do DI, like, or do not do the graph thing and all, because there's a reason for that.
Hmm.
What they do is, like, after post CLAT 2020, when uh, the graphs and all were asked, there was a case which went to Supreme Court regarding what will we do regarding the visually challenged
Visually
candidates,
impaired.
right? Yeah, so that is the reason why in 2021 and 2022 the caselet thing was asked. So I think that
Hmm.
would be followed in 2023 as well. So you should not worry about that. Just try to so that is where the DI, the Adda 247 book comes into picture. That is a very good book regarding caselets. It has level 1, level 2, level 3 caselets. You can just go from there and you can improve your calculations. Just
Right.
the only conceptual thing that you need to know is regarding percentages. I think percentages and ratios.
And ratio proportion. Yeah.
Yeah, percentage and ratio proportion. Baki, if you want, you can do time and work and
Hmm.
time speed distance. After that, it's not worth it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So basically, it's like ratio and proportion and percentage आता है, तो you can do time and distance, profit loss, times
Yeah,
सब हो जाता है मतलब if you are good in ratio and proportion and percentage. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So like people are telling that in CLAT 2022 there were topics asked from the international law or international affairs. was this the case? And if that was the case, so how do you suggest preparing for that?
Yeah, so for in the legal section they had two passages based on international law, but I think they were fairly easy to interpret. Like, it's not like,
Right.
see, there can be two ways where a passage, three ways where a passage can be tough. Either it asks you upon like the theory and all, right? Plainly they ask you about the theory, which wasn't the case. Or the questions can be tough again, which wasn't the case. Or the interpreting the passage itself can be tough, right? Like, I think for some aspirants, they because they were only exposed to the current legal knowledge thing which was asked in mocks, no, they were not exposed to the fact, they were not accustomed to the fact, they were not ready for the fact that there can be such passages which can be asked in the paper. So if you are calm and you're interpreting that, then I think it was like the monalism and the dualism thing which was asked. I think that was fairly easy to interpret, and the questions were also easy. So it wasn't a thing about, because even they know that they can't ask like CLAT aspirants
Hmm.
regarding private international law and customary international law, right? Because that would be unethical in that sense. So
Right.
that's the thing. Also, one thing is that aspirants should not, like, the people should not worry too much regarding aspects of the 2022 paper per se, because
Hmm.
there are two things. One thing is that if it's tough for you, like once
You.
you've reached a certain stage of preparation where you are scoring good as well, you know that you can, okay, if everything goes good, you can get a good rank. Then if you are not getting it, you're not you're not able to interpret, then nobody else is able to interpret. That's the thing, right? So even for
Yeah.
GK, what happened was that there were some people who were just frightened by the fact that, okay, ye kya puch liya. For me it was like, okay, if I don't know, then nobody else knows this, and nobody did know.
Right. Yeah.
किसी को भी नहीं पता
So
था.
Rishabh,
So
I want to tell you this. Like while I was going to give my paper in 2021, so my dad asked me while we were in the car, "के बेटा GK हो गया तेरा?" क्योंकि they knew that GK was my weakest subject, like subject in mocks. So and I told him confidently that अगर पापा मुझे नहीं आता होगा तो और किसी को नहीं आता होगा. That day I was that confident कि हाँ मुझे आता है. Now I know what is going to be asked in CLAT 2021. Even though it was unpredictable, while I was giving the paper, I didn't like freak out because I knew कि मुझे नहीं आ रहा तो 99% लोगों को नहीं आएगा. Yeah,
exactly. So
yeah.
that is the thing
So,
with GK, right? So just, yeah. And the second thing would be just, just do not overly analyze the 2022 paper. It's over now, and just focus on the basics. See, focus on what the basic skills they want you to know, like basic comprehension in like reading with speed, right? Reading and comprehending with speed. That is what they ask from you, right? And
hmm,
for the legal section, you just refer to the theory, and then your three reading sections are sorted. For GK we've talked, and for maths just practice and practice and practice. So if, let's say, there are people who might not be as proficient in maths, just try to increase your score to as much possible, like just optimize. That is the thing which one can do while attempting the paper, while attempting mocks,
hmm,
and while attempting the paper as well, right? You can change your strategy mid during the mock, like mid mock, because you need to optimize as much as you can, right? Because there were many people who, even in CLAT 22, they just broke down and they weren't able to attempt the paper only, right? So just
right,
try to get as good a rank as you can during the paper, right? Just try to optimize as much as you can. That would be the key for CLAT. So that's that.
right. Yeah. So, like coming to the end of the session. So, what was your strategy of filling the OMR sheets? Like most people prefer to fill it after passage. Some prefer to fill it after each section. How did you go about it?
So from the starting, I filled it after each question, right? So I was just
Right.
in that sense. What aspirants can do is that uh, they can fill it after each passage, like after five questions. Like,
Hmm.
it's not may not be just one passage, it can be just one page, right? Because you don't have to see to the other page, you
Right.
just have to flip, because if you flip, then the time is wasted, then
Hmm.
there's no point, right? So you can do it page wise as well. That is one thing that you can do, which is something some of my friends did as well. Either you can do it question by question way, but the problem with that is that you can't change it after that. Like, for example, what happened with me was I got three wrong overall in legal, and one was that I marked it wrong. Like, once I marked, I immediately realized, okay, this was not the thing, because I did not read the
Hmm.
facts properly. I was in a hurry. So once I marked it, and then I just came to the next question, I immediately realized, okay, there's something wrong. So if,
Hmm.
let's say, that would have if I would have filled it after the passage, then maybe that mistake may not have happened, right? So
Hmm.
that is one thing that you can do, which aspirants can do. But the thing is, like, I think just marking it after each question would be good as well. If there's at least for the last part of the paper, for the
Right.
last 15
Yeah,
minutes,
yeah, yeah,
just
definitely.
mark every question you can. Just don't wait for the time, because if the invigilator snatches your OMR, it's done, then nothing can be done. So yeah.
Right. Also, Rishabh, so study buddy and study group system is gaining a lot of traction these days. Like everyone topper I see in the campus is says, "कि हाँ मैं इसके साथ पढ़ा था. This was my study buddy. This was my friend who I prepared along." And also, you were also part of the study group. Like four people and three made it to NLS. So, why do you think that this study group is very important? How the system of study buddy helps one?
Yeah, so I think this is like study group is very, very important, and I'll tell you why. The reason is that since CLAT is like, though it's an objective, but the comprehension thing is very objective. Like for example, you attempt JE, then you can refer to the explanations, yeah, jo bhi hai, you can see कि क्यों गलत हुआ, right? There is a black and white there. In CLAT,
Right.
there is a lot of gray area. Even if let's say it's about analyzing the mock only, right? There can be various perspectives of interpreting the passage, of interpreting the question, which you did not think, which your
Hmm.
friend did, right? So that can open your thinking, right? That can improve your thinking. Plus it's regarding, you can, sometimes what happens is that the mock explanations are very insufficient in nature. You can't get an answer to that. That is where friends can help. When you're analyzing the mock together, you can see that, okay, why was the answer C, why wasn't it D? And if all four of us got D, then we knew that, okay, this question we have got it right, the answer is wrong, the answer given is wrong.
Right.
So that can be one thing. Secondly, I think is because not everybody, like, a single person is not good in everything in the paper, right? Some people maybe, like, I was good. I was not that good in GK, which Harshal, one of our friends, was good in GK, right? He was not that good in maths as I was. And then there is Kanish, who was good in English as well. Pranchu was good in English. Kanish was good in CR. So
Hmm.
that way you can help each other, complement each other, and you can help each other to improve your score in every section. Like we used to do GK together, right? So for Pranch, for let's say for Kanish did not make notes per se, right? So we just,
Hmm.
we did GK together. And for basic strategies, like whatever we happened, me and Kanish were in the Google Meet, and I just started ranting. I always used to just rant regarding the preparation and all that. So that is where friends can help you regarding the prep, right? They
Hmm.
can talk to you. They can, just console you and all that. They can just, explain to you that, okay, everything's fine, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है वगैरह वगैरह. So yeah, so because we were like कि भाई endless होगा कि नहीं, क्या हो रहा है and all, क्या ही चल रहा है वो
Hmm.
prep कैसी चल रही है. So
Yeah.
that is where they help you. Like Kanish was the most optimistic of us कि नहीं भाई हो जाएगा and all that, and ultimately did. So friends can
Yeah.
basically help you during your prep as well, and in the strategy part of it as well. Like the thing, like the order changing part I mentioned, which helped me, gain my marks. So after that 100, I increased to 150, 120. So I automatically
Hmm.
got a 10 marks high. So that was primarily because me and Kanish were talking, and then he was like, यार क्या पता order change कर ले. So I was like, okay, I'll talk to Karan sir regarding it, है ना. So basic things,
Hmm.
friends can help you in everything, in your mock analysis thing, in your they can help you improve your section as well. You can improve their section as well, right? So uh, I
Yeah.
think study buddy thing is, very 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 helpful and very very important as well. Like it should be there for, if you can, then it should be there. Like you
Hmm.
can get to meet people, you can just help a lot, you can just improve a lot as a CLAT aspirant, if with
Right, right. So,
yeah,
yeah, so it's a known fact that coachings can provide you with materials and clear your doubts. But in the end, it's the group of friends
yeah,
that you need to support you emotionally, mentally, physically, and be
yeah,
there with you when you're scoring 60 and also when you're scoring 120. Yeah,
yeah.
so I get your point. Yeah, so last question to you, I promise. So, what is that one thing that you would suggest aspirants to not do? That one mistake that you regret doing, or that one thing that you would ask your aspirants to not do, but you did, and you think that that shouldn't have been done.
I think one thing would be like, do not just, delay the GK revision. So we were like, कि okay, हो जाएगा, and then we delayed our GK revision, and because of which we weren't able to, revise the document as we could have. Obviously, that did not make a difference much in terms of marks in GK,
Hmm.
but still, that was one thing. Like, because let's say if there would have been something which would have been asked from the paper, which was from the notes. Like there were obviously many questions from notes, but कोई ऐसा क्वेश्चन जो होता है एंड आई डिडंट नो द आंसर, आई कुड नॉट रिमेंबर द आंसर,
Right.
राइट? सो देन तब पेपर में ही बहुत बुरा लगता है कि रिवाइज कर लेना चाहिए था एंड ऑल दैट. सो इट बेसिकली, डू नॉट डिले द जीके रिवीजन. यू कैन डू weekly GK revision, I don't think so, but monthly GK revision is sufficient for
Right.
aspirants. Like for example, in the first week of August, you can finish the July revision as well as the August thing, and then you
August first
can
week.
yeah. So that is one thing, that please do not delay GK revision. Plus, you guys have CLAT in like what 4 months now in
Four
December,
months.
right? So just
Yeah.
try to just complete your revision so that you don't have you're not panicking at that point that okay GK revision new one.
Right. Right, Rishabh. So thank you so much for joining. Anything else you would like to tell the aspirants who'll you be mentoring in the foreseeable future? And any last final tip from your side?
uh, the final tip would be just to like just practice and practice and practice. I think just practice and do not over analyze things. Do not try to find a meaning in situations where there isn't.
Right.
Just believe in yourself. Do not rely too much on mock scores, that okay I'm scoring 80, will I get endless or not. Just do not care about that.
Right.
Just try to optimize, try to increase it as much as you can, and I think that is enough. Yeah, that would be sufficient. So do not rely too much on mock
Right.
scores, and just chill out mentally. Do not stress much. That would be the final tip for that.
Right. Right. Thank you, Rishabh, so much for this session. I think you can leave. I'll talk to the people regarding this program at the National Law Training Institute. Yeah. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for your time.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed the session. So, by way of introduction, I am Manish Gupta, All India Rank 17 in CLAT 2021, and I'm bringing you this program by the name of National Law Training Institute, just to get away with the exploitative of the coaching industry that has been running the CLAT coaching scene for a long time now, and also to get rid of you guys, the aspirant community, from self-acclaimed mentors who are not obviously in NLS, but they claim to produce NLS, IELTS, and CLAT toppers. So with this aim, I start this like institute, and this is not an institute per se right now, but I hope that we build a community that is for yourself and by yourself. So understand this thing, guys. We have self-acclaimed mentors on Telegram and other things who like portray on the face of it that they are helping you, but that is not obviously the case. So think of it yourself. Like a person who has not studied from NLS, how can he or she may like advise you how to get NLS? And that is the case with other mentors also. A person from RGNUL, how can he uh, mentor a person who holds the capability of getting NLS? So with this aim, I started this initiative where only the NLS mentors, CLAT toppers, CLAT 2021 toppers, CLAT 2022 toppers, and next year, if by the time I am able to continue this initiative and the program, the CLAT 2023 toppers will help you out personally, mentally, physically, emotionally, to get rid of the community that has been plaguing the industry for now, and help you guys sincerely. Like feel this is an obligation. Like since we have cleared CLAT and we know how it go. Like how what one goes through during the entire CLAT prep journey, we think that this is an obligation for us to help you guys out. But understand this thing also, guys. Like nothing comes on the house. Okay, so if I'm calling Rishabh, or if I'm calling Kanishk, his study buddy, or if I'm calling Harshit, All India Rank 4, who also cleared CLAT in his first attempt, where he was in 11th. When I call these guys for session and when I take their help, they'll obviously not be free, and they'll obviously want something cute pro quo. And this is how anything works. Like why would they be willing to spare their time for an initiative that I am running, and that if ever it goes on my CV that I founded this National Law Institute training institute. So understand this, guys. Like nothing will come on the house. Obviously this would be very subsidized, not like other self-acclaimed mentors who are running such programs on Telegram. We will obviously help you guys out. We will obviously provide free aid. But yeah, we have to, like, just to be clear and just to not misrepresent anything, we have to charge something or other for such an initiative. Because even if I like let go my profit, and that I'm not aiming also at this point, if I let go my profit, I have to pay all these mentors if they take sessions, and if they come spare the time. You all obviously know that the academic rigor NLS has doesn't allow anyone to even participate in a cricket match happening outside in the field. That so much of academic pressure is there in NLS. But if I'm calling these guys to take a session for 1 hour, they'll obviously want something could pro quo, because obviously their face is not getting attached with this institute. It's my name and it's my face. So yeah, just to clear the air regarding whether it is paid or it is free of cost, for now, a few sessions would be like few mentorship sessions like this would be obviously on the house, free of charge, nothing would be charged. And then we'll obviously have to look for an alternative. Just to like tell you what our plans are, we aim to create study buddy groups among yourselves, like a person scoring 60, like creating like a bundle of aspirants, like 4 to 5 aspirants in study groups, who are scoring similar marks like 65 to 70. And then each study buddy group would be mentored personally by every class topper. Like 3 to 4 study buddy groups would be mentored by one personal mentor who would be a class topper. So this way he'll also share, he or she will share his insights on your notes that you have been creating. And you also would be like getting a hang of it, how other people are working for Clad coaching, and how other people are in this aspect right now. So yeah, that's all we plan to aim for this at this institute, at this initiative. And I hope to have all your support. And right. So thank you so much for this session, for attending this session. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it a lot. And we'll bring another session, a few more sessions this week for you. And I hope you turn up in great numbers. Thank you so much.